Hello dear students. In this tutorial we're going to cover the concept of HTTP server and the DNS, right? So here I set up the layout for you, a pre-ready setup that creates two different networks with the DHCP already designed. So we have the computers with the IP address dynamically allocated so that we will save time, right? So now let me explain you what is the HTTP server and what is the DNS server all about. So whenever you want to access any web page, so that web page or website will be hosted for 24/7 somewhere on the server computers, right? So computers should always be turned on so that you can access to that website at any time, right? So the idea of the HTTP request and the DNS is usually server computers, they have the name as the IP address, but it's not convenient to type the IP address over here on the browser bar, right? So you are used to type some names, right? So that's what the domain is called from this area, right? So you type the domain name, let's say google.com, yahoo.com, or centralasian.us, right? And there should be separate servers, either DNS server or the feature of the DNS, right, that tells, hey, this particular domain, the contents of this particular web page, right, website, sorry, the HTML, CSS, or JavaScript files, right, are located in particular server computer with this IP address, and the sort of DNS allocates the domain name to the IP address, right? So in this diagram you can see there are clients, they type the domain name, and then DNS tells them or DNS allocates which server computer stores that particular domain's web content, and then they will be shown on their browser. Beautiful websites like the one you see, centralasian.us, or the CAU app. But if you are interested to the web development, you can also have your own website. Two things you have to know. You have to know for that. So first thing is you have to buy the domain. You can buy the domain from the GoDaddy.com, for example, and then you have to host your web pages. You can also see some of the hosting providers available on the internet. So our purpose is to see the HTTP and the DNS, right? So you got the clear idea, overall idea of the HTTP and the DNS. Now let's turn to the simulation. So here we have set up the basic DHCP ready for us. So you can go to the physical side as well. I have stored the server in the middle room. So this is the DHCP server, and I have stored the wired computers on the left room as usual, and the wireless devices on the right room, right? So what we start here with is we need three more server computers. One will play the role of the DNS, the other two will play the role of the HTTP server, right? So I'll bring some server computers, one for the DNS, one for the CAU homepage and CAU app homepage, right? So here we have three different server computers, so we have to connect them to the switch connection device. So we connect them to the switch connection device, and last one as well, right? So remember, the server computers, they usually do not get the IP addresses dynamically assigned, so you have to manually give the IP address for every single server. You can also give the name for these servers. So this one is going to be CAU, and the IP address is going to be, let's say, DHCP got the 101, so this is going to be 102, right? So this is the CAU server, and this one is the CAU app server. Let's call it CAU app, and this one is going to have the IP address of 113, right? And the last one, which will play the role as the role of the DNS, is going to have the IP address of 104, right? So I give the name here as well, which is the DNS. Yeah, it's all set. So we have three different server computers, and they are automatically assigned to the middle room. So we don't need to worry about the the physical site, right? So all these server computers, they are assigned to the middle room. So from the logical standpoint, now we have to tell each server computer to do its own job, right? But one more thing we have to deal in this context is, now because we have set the DNS server, and these computers, they receive their IP addresses dynamically, so these computers, they should also know the IP address of the DNS, right? So what I have to do is I have to check the IP address of the which is 104, right? IP address of the DNS server, and then on the DHCP, I have to tell right over here the IP address of the DNS. I will tell whenever the client computers, they request for the dynamic IP address, they will also be given the DNS server, right? You got the idea. So I have assigned that, so I go 4 different machines, and I just simply update so that you pay attention. This DNS server will get the IP address of the DNS server, right? So I'll do the same for all these computers, for the wired ones and for the wireless one as well, right? So for the tablet and for the smartphone as well. So pay attention, DNS server IP address is received, and finally the smartphone, we will update it, so DNS server 1.4 is received. Great. Now we are ready to set up the DNS server, right? So as usual, services, we turn off the rest of the services, and we make sure that only the DNS feature is turned on. DNS is turned on, and the rest of the services is turned off. So we turn it off, we turn it off, and we turn it off. And yeah, IoT and the virtual machine and the radius is by default. There's no turn on button. So DNS, now in this DNS section, we have to tell the IP address of the CAU server, HTTP server, and the CAU app server, right? So we check that it's a 102, right? And this one is 103, if I'm not mistaken, right? 103. So these IP addresses will be told to the client when they type particular domain name on their browser, right? So what we have to do is you should start with the 3W. So we're going to say Central Asian.us is located on the IP address 1, 2, right? If I'm not mistaken, it was 1 and 2. So let's add that. So let me check that. CAU has it's 1, 2, and this one has 1, 3, right? Great. So DNS, we go to the DNS section, and we add one more record, 3W CAU app.us, right? And the IP address here is 13, right? So we click the add. So now 2 records have been added, right? So we can check from the browser, from the client computers, but let's make it more interesting. So we go to the server computers, and we turn on the first of all, let's check to turn off the rest of the services. So these 2 computers will be playing the role of the HTTP server, so the rest of the services should be turned off. And then we add some basic content with the HTML that I have prepared. So I turn it off all the services. So for the HTTP, so it's on, and the index homepage, so I have prepared some web page content, so we will copy it and we will paste it and save it, right? So it's done. And for the CAU app, we will do the same. So first we will turn off the rest of the services, and then we provide the HTML source, right? So let me finish that. So all the services should be off, including the email and FTP. So we are on HTTP. We go to the index. So this is the home page of the CAU app. So we copy and paste the source code, and we paste it here. We save it. We save it. Now 2 servers, they have the homepage content. So whenever you type, let's say, google.com, so you will be directed to the index.html or PHP or whatever the context there, index file, right? So now the servers, HTTP servers are set up, DNS is set up, and we can try now to access the websites through the client devices. So we go to the desktop or the installed applications, we go to the browser, right? And here we will type the www.cisco centralasian.us, right? Here you can see the homepage of the centralasian.us. It's not .com, right? It's .us. So if you type if you don't type it correctly, then you will receive some particular message, right? So we can try the same thing with the CAU app.us, right? .us, and here you can see the homepage of the CAU app. Like you can see the contents like content delivery, class management, and we can try the same feature from the mobile devices as well. For example, we want to access the site from the smartphone, right? So we go to the web browser and we start typing centralasian.us, and here you can see like a schools, engineering, medical, dental, business, architecture, and design, right? That's all the concept of the HTTP server. So make sure you understand how to set up the DNS, make sure you understand how to set up these HTTP servers, and also a very important thing is you have to go to the DHCP and tell the DNS server, the IP address of the DNS server. Servers are all taken the static IP address, so that the clients, whenever they dynamically get the IP address, they should also get the DNS server, right? So with that said, and physically once again, so we can see the wired computers on the left room and the wireless devices on the right room, and all the servers located in the room in the middle, right? So okay, that's all. Thank you for the attention.